Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Coffee Break, and welcome back to the PvT ProCast edition. And today we are going to be featuring one titan of the ProToss race. On the lower right hand side here on Ohana, it is going to be SKMC as a red ProToss player. And on the top left side, maybe a little bit of an underdog here, but not a bad player in his own right. It is going to be MForGG. And now I will be a little bit impartial, or is it a little bit partial? I'm not sure. I'm going to blaspheme the ProToss race. I am a ProToss player myself. I do not like MC. Oh no! That's right, I said it. I am not a big fan of MC. I say as I rearrange the way a picture hangs on my wall because it was crooked and that was all I was looking at. I do not like him because he's kind of a one-build horse, and if something doesn't work, try it again. And that's great when you're practicing up a lot, but it's not so great in the pros, especially when you're doing like a best of 3, best of 5 series, and you just kind of keep dying. And he's always kind of been that way. He used to be a little bit cheesy, a little bit one-basey, then he switched, and I mean, he'll do 2-base stuff now, but now it's just a lot of 2-base all-ins. Not a big fan of his gameplay. Perhaps he's changed recently. I know Sleeper Cells has been talking a little bit how, oh yeah, he's changed. He goes to 3-base sometimes, but I'm going to be honest, I haven't seen it yet. Forge on the other side, I do not know too much about. I have watched his stream a couple of times, but not all that much. I don't really know enough about him to make any judgments on his gameplay. So, that's actually one reason why I did pick this up. Now, this is, I believe, from the IEM. And I also believe it's a best of 3. But I apologize if I'm wrong, and I will say so later on. I have a little caption at the beginning of the games over on this left, or pardon me, the right side here, and that should say what the game numbers are, if it's a best of 3 or a best of 5. So that is where this series is from. This is another PvT. The reason I chose a PvT was because A, I did want to see Forge play, and MC is such a popular player. You know, when I see a game from MC, I almost can't not cast it. So that's one reason. The other reason, I recently casted Puck vs. Zeus, and it was a really, I'm just gonna be honest, that cast sucked, and I apologize. And if you haven't seen it, well, you're not really missing out on all that much. So I just kind of wanted to do another PvT cast because I really like this matchup, and I kind of jacked the last one up. Also, I do have another series I'm going to cast sometime this week if I get time. I did start college up this week, so it might have to wait for a little while. But it is Nesty versus some ProToss. It's Nesty versus some ProToss that Nesty I would say is favored on, but I don't know exactly. And that's another game from the IEM, but I can't exactly remember who his opponent is. Gosh dang it. Oh well, nonetheless, so that should be coming out hopefully later on this week, and I will keep you guys updated on the Facebook page as always. Oh yeah, if you haven't, just go to Facebook and type in Coffee Break. Like me there, that's when you'll know when I have new VODs going up or something, or just subscribe on YouTube. We do have a stalker coming up to poke up the ramp to see what's going on. These Marines, they kind of indicate that there's going to be an expansion here, and really you kind of assume that there's going to be an expansion there. But if you want to get technical, MC doesn't actually know 100% if there's an expansion there, unless I missed something. Nope, he technically does not know, but I mean, by all good judgments, he can assume that there is one. However, assuming never a good thing, so I would assume that we'll see MC do some more poking and prodding at some point in time. I love the arrangement of the Marines here, I would like to say. Right at the top of the ramp, it makes it units won't get vision up the ramp until about here-ish. There's almost, you can actually almost see a line right here if you can see what I'm pointing out, and that's about the point that units will start getting vision up that ramp. And so these Marines are actually going to get a couple of free pot shots off at units before ranged units of MC would be able to start firing back. So this is a great little maneuver right here, having these Marines here. And that's why a lot of the time you will see players put bunkers back here, back in this area, because they can get a few free shots off over here, run all the way back to the bunker, and this bunker right here will actually defend both the expansion and the ramp here. just a little random information, a little bit of random information that I have picked up over the times. Nothing special. Concussive Shells has finished for Forge, who's pushing out to his watchtower up here. Stalker going to take a couple of quick shots off, not quite able to pick off Marine. Looks like he's going to look to be a little bit aggressive, but oh no, gets hit with that Concussive Shell, and that Stalker is toast right there. And now Forge moving out across the map, and Stim is not going to be finished. What does MC have to defend with? Well, a few Zealots and a few Sentries, as well as a Stalker. This is a decent little composition. He will be able to hold this ramp with a couple of Force Wheels. The question is, will he allow Forge to get up the ramp and try to pick off a couple of units with those Zealots or not? Looks like Forge might be coming around to this back door here. Will be able to take that down fairly quickly with this Marauder support. No, just kind of patrolling around, looking for a third. And I really love his decision to go ahead and back up at this point, because there's really, at this point in time, it's kind of a late-ish bio push. It's kind of at this awkward time where, I mean, you have kind of your 6-minute bio push and your 10-minute bio push. This 8-minute push here would not be all that strong with Stim only halfway done. You really want to have that done before you do any real push. So it looks like Stim is going to finish up, as well as a couple of medevacs coming out across the map, and that will probably be his timing to push out. MC does have an observer in Forge's base now. What's he going to see? Well, pretty much all of the same thing. A few barracks. Are there any more? Am I missing any? Not really, no. A couple of barracks, a factory is floating out across the map, and a medevac with a reactor pumping out medevacs. So MC probably going to know that there is a little bit of aggression on the way with those medevacs popping out. But again, this is not anything that's too crazy unstandard. I'm sure MC will be just fine in this engagement. Does have Blink on the way, as well as Colossus Tech just now finishing up. Their robotics not really pumping all that much out right now, though. In fact, really not all that much in the way of forces on top of this ramp. Going to need some fairly decent force field to be able to hold this off. Quite a few Stalkers are on the field there, now getting an extra warp in. That Blink not going to finish quite in time to help deal with any sort of drop play. Looks like these medevacs not quite sure where they want to go. A couple of great force fields going down on that ramp, and Stalkers are ready to defend against those drops. One medevac does go down instantly, and that was a great engagement for MC there. Got some beautiful force fields down right in time, and was able to use the Stalkers to pick off a medevac that was about halfway full of units. That was pretty much as perfect as MC could have wanted, and that should just about halt the aggression. But no, Forge wants to try to do a little bit more here. Could find himself in a little bit of trouble, as Blink is going to finish up fairly shortly. It looks like MC does know what is going on. Does have those Stalkers pulled up into the main base. Will this medevac be lost as well? The Stalkers right on top of that, and he is going to pick off that medevac, and only going to lose a single Stalker for that. So that was a great exchange for MC. And really just kind of won both those engagements quite heavily, we can see here in that unit's lost tab. Forge going to follow up, laying down an engineering bay, probably going to start a couple of upgrades here. I suppose just a single upgrade, as well as get a Ghost Academy down on the field. That Ghost Academy going to be great for these sentries, however, not going to be all that great against the Colossus. Where is the Robo? There it is. There it is, hiding Colossus in the back of the base. Now, don't get me wrong, Ghosts are always good against any Protoss composition, but if I can make an overarching statement, the Ghosts are a little bit better versus the heavy gateway builds that involve the High Templar and the Archons, and the Vikings are generally a better option, obviously, when you have the Colossus on the field. So I maybe would have liked to see a couple of Vikings out, maybe before that the Ghosts come out, but at the same time, I mean, these force shields are going to be deadly if he has no way to counter those. So I suppose Forge knows what he's doing better than I do. MC pushing out across the map now, and actually going to run right up into this army. A little bit of bad positioning for MC, going to catch a few units with those force shields, but not going to be able to do too terribly much. Does have the Stalkers up there, up in front, to get a few shots off. However, the Zealots are melting away. Does not quite want to engage us yet. I think there are quite a few Marauders in that army, and it is mainly just Stalkers and Colossus left. So I think it would be fairly ill-advisable to try to jump up into that at this point in time, but it looks like he's going to go ahead and do that anyways. Oh, poking up, falling back, and poking it once again. There we go, now getting the Colossus in a better position. Not the greatest force field, pushing most of the army back, actually. Not really having much of his own army engaging, but MC going to win this engagement. Might lose a Colossus. There we go, nice little ball of death there. Pardon me, a force field of death there. Getting those Marauders trapped in the middle. And there's the GG from Forge, actually. Not really having all that much left at this point in time. Just a few barracks, not really all that much unit producing capabilities. It looks like MC actually found a fairly decent timing pushing out across the map there with a couple of Colossus and a lot of Stalkers. I thought Forge might have a small advantage with the number of Marauders he had, but I guess when you have a number of Marauders equal to the number of your opponent's Stalkers and your opponent has a couple of Colossus as well, not going to go all that well for you. So there is game number 1 for you folks. That, a fairly quick game, actually, all things considered. We only got to about the 13:30 mark, but not a big deal. MC taking a quick 1-0 over his opponent. If you have not already, subscribe to me here on YouTube. There is a button for that, and you are probably looking at it right now. That just helps me a ton, and it gives me a little extra viewership, which motivates me to do more. Woo! I'll be honest there. Also, just type in Coffee Break on Facebook and try to find me there. That's when you know when I have more content coming up. I am going to go ahead and jump on over to game number 2. So until next time, folks, this is Coffee Break, signing out.